everyone, I'm Eli, and today I'm going to show you how to install brand new aftermarket speakers into pretty much any car. Now this video is going to be not on specifically my car, or my old car now, which is a 2006 Lincoln LS, but I'm going to show you key tips and tricks to be able to install new speakers on pretty much any car. So pretty much all you're going to need for this is obviously some new speakers. Now speaker sizes do vary depending on the car. These are 6x8s. Some cars are 6.5, some cars are 6x9s. They vary a lot. So just Google your car and find out exactly what size speakers you need. Aside from that, you'll need sometimes some clip disconnectors or clip prying tools. I got these from Harbor Freight for $12.99, I think it was. Actually, I have their receipt right here. Yeah, $12.99. So you'll need those, possibly, and you might also possibly need a socket set. Also bought this at Harbor Freight for, I think it was $5.99. No, $4.99. So it all came out below $20. If you're gonna go to the soldering route, then you're gonna need some solder and a soldering iron. However, I don't currently have one with me, unfortunately. So I'm doing it the rigged way and using twisting and some electrical tape. I don't recommend doing it that way, but I drove quite a ways over here to Caleb's shop and I didn't bring a soldering iron. Another way you can connect the speakers is by using a stock adapter. So pretty much what this is, I'll bring it closer so you can see, is an adapter that allows you to go from pretty much any aftermarket speakers, which would be this end here, plugs into the speaker, to the stock connection for most cars. So this one actually is for a 2007 GMC Sierra. And I was going to use it, but then I found out that it didn't actually have the stock speakers in it, and someone had already cut the wires, which is no fun, but it still works the same way. Another thing you might need is a drill. In my case, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have to use the socket set. We'll find out once I get started. And I haven't looked up anything as to how to get the door panel off to actually get the new speakers installed. So this is going to be on a whim, kind of using the knowledge that I've had in the past of installing speakers. So here we go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and open the speakers and see what's inside, and I'll give you a down low on exactly what everything does. So go and pop it open real quick. Chunk that. And when you open it, you'll have the two speakers, I should say. One I've already unwrapped because I opened this a while back just to look at it. So, got the 6x8 speaker right here. And then of course to the back of it, since it's a magnet, you have the screws as well. All right, so next in the box we have the actual connectors themselves, which will clamp onto, or slide on rather, to the connectors on the back of the speakers. So there's really no way to mess this up. You just put the larger tab into the larger socket connector there, and the smaller into the smaller. In some brands, like Kicker, they actually give you some crimp connectors to work with, so you don't have to solder or you don't have to rig it and twist the wires together and electrical tape it like I'm going to do. I might actually use these if I can find a crimp tool in this garage. Other than that, got the other speaker, and that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and head over to the car. All right, so to start out, this is the door panel, of course. What you're mainly going to want to look for is any sort of covers that could look suspicious. Not necessarily suspicious, but look like they're there for a purpose. As you can see in plain sight, you can't really see anything, but right behind this handle here, there used to be a cover, which happens to be missing on my car, at least on this side. That normally would pop off, and there's two screws there. I'll go ahead and show a picture of that in a second. Now, the other thing to look for is screws around the perimeter of the door. So there's actually one right here. I don't know if you can see that on camera, probably not. But there's one right here. There's a few more under here. Pretty much all you've got to do is unscrew those. Sometimes they will be actual like Phillips head screws, and sometimes they'll require an actual socket set. In my case, they're actually Phillips head screws. So I'll go ahead and unscrew those, and then we'll get to getting the clips off. All right, so now that you've got the screws out, you can look and see if you have clips on your door panel. I'm not sure if I do, and I'm about to find out in a second, and you'll be finding out as well. But one of the next steps that I always do me set these over here real quick, is any sort of panels like this that you have where there's switches on it, try to pull them out. Most of the time they will pull out pretty easy, or they'll have some clips. Definitely be careful though, because some of the clips can break, and in my case, mine was broken when I got the car, so I can just lift it out really simply. Here we go. So all you've got to do once it's lifted out is most of the time they'll have a little tab you can push down on, and it'll just disconnect the wire, and that helps with strain relief. So whenever you actually get the door panel off, it's not ripping the cords on here and damaging them. All right, so if you do have clips in your door panel and they do need to come out to be able to access the speakers, definitely buy some of these. Don't buy the plastic ones because they break super simple, and these are only a few bucks more. Like I said, I got them for like 12 bucks at Harbor Freight. Now, my two favorite are the wide ones, although sometimes under some circumstances you will need the smaller clip disconnectors, and there is even a hook one that allows you to get in if you have a clip right up here by the window. All right, so in my car there are actually clips. Some Fords don't have that, they're just screws and it pulls off. But pretty much the procedure you're going to want to do is just whatever way it's curving, put it in to where that's facing the inside of the door. And just kind of rummage around and try to find where the clips are until you actually find one, and then pull up and it'll pop like that. Sometimes they do require some force, so don't be afraid to get in there if you actually feel it. However, if you feel like you're on something that's not quite a clip, then definitely don't put any pressure on it. This is also handy for tight spaces like this. All right, so once you've got that off, you have to be kind of mindful of the door handle, just because sometimes they're routed in such a way you have to pull off a specific way. So like mine had to lift to the left. All right, so once you've lifted that off, most of the time if there's more cords connecting it, like in my case, there's some that are connecting the lock and unlock button, just tilt the door sideways, or the door panel rather, and set it on the ground. Now sometimes it will get in the way of the speaker, however, you can just maneuver it whenever you're working with it. The other way you can do it if you don't want to just have this hanging here is if you can't find the clip, just unclip it. Most of the time whenever you have to hang it, it's because this is actually attached to the door. A lot of older cars will have that, and disconnecting the little cable that actually opens the door is a real big hassle. So if you have to, you can hang it. If not, just go ahead and disconnect it. All right, so as you can see, there's 4 different bolts, you can't see these two, that are holding this in. So all we've got to do to get this out is to just unscrew those. Cool, so once you've got the screws out, a lot of the time if they're stock, it's going to be kind of difficult to get it off. Sometimes they have foam like this on the backside too, to prevent a whole bunch of vibration. So that foam will actually over time become more like an adhesive and it'll stick. So just pull a little bit. If you have to, you can grab one of the pry tools. And you can hear that kind of, there it is. So once you get that off, there's probably going to be a connector. In my case, there is. So you can just disconnect that, and then you've got the 2 connections there. Now, I thought that I would have to just splice these in, but there's actually a connector, which I had no clue about. So I'm just going to have to cut this and go like that. All right. So I've put on the connectors, or I've crimped them on. I've got to say this is the shittiest looking crimp job I've ever done, but it works. So I've sliced off the original connector, crimped on the new connector. Now all we've got to do is grab the new speaker and match up the large tab to the large socket here. I just put that on the wrong one, ignore that. So large tab, large connector. Small tab, small connector. Simple as that. Now all there's left to do is pop it in here. I'm really OCD, so I'm going to pop it in the way that shows the kicker emblem like that. And as you can see, barely probably, the holes line up for the screws. So I'm not actually going to have to use the screws that came with it. Most of the time those are for enclosures, so if you have like a sub enclosure that you're putting these into, then you have those screws. In this case, I'm not going to need them. One major point that I will say you should look at if you have a screw going in close to any wires like these, definitely make sure whenever you're screwing in, it clears it and doesn't screw down onto it, because if you do that, you can damage stuff, and damaging stuff can be expensive, and that's no fun. Perfect. Now it's in. I will say, before you put it in and make everything final, definitely, if you don't already know which one's positive, which wire's negative, then definitely test it out before you actually put it in. I did, I just didn't do it on camera, as well as the crimping, because the crimping is pretty simple. So yeah, now all there is left to do is the reverse of what we did at first. So there we go, all back together, just like it never happened, kind of. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side, and that'll be it, but I'm not gonna show you because that's the exact same thing.
Hey everyone, so I hope you enjoyed that video. I had Eli do that one because he is better on the electrical side than I am. I am more on the mechanical side, so that's what I'm better at, and that's kind of what he's better at. So we benefit each other on that, and he's going to be teaching me some more on electrical as well, and vice versa. We do have more videos coming out, so keep an eye out. And the reason being, it kind of takes a while for us to get one out is because we can only meet once a week just to get the video made and kind of get the editing done. So it's a bit hard for us to get some stuff done, but we're getting it done. Alright, now if y'all liked the video, if you liked any more of our videos, I hope, subscribe, click the like, and I'll see y'all later.
No! We'll keep that in there. No, we'll keep it in there. Totally worth it.